like to welcome the moderator, Erik Haggblom, CEO from Carat, Spain. Good morning, Erik.
Good morning, Erik. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for actually, waking up in time and being here for the very first session on data activation. So the idea behind this panel is to share with you some compelling views on how we can activate people, perhaps rather than data, because as we all know, behind every data point, there's a person, right? For more profitable consumer marketing. So we have three quite interesting speakers. The idea was to start more with the macro, providing you more of a macro perspective, sort of more enterprise level on how we can structure data for activation. We'll go on to talk a little bit more about decisioning around data, and close a little bit more on the more executional part, on the delivery of the activation. We've tried to work out three distinct takeouts from each one of these angles. And, we have three great speakers with us. I'll introduce them. We have first Jason Heller. He's the global lead digital marketing operations of McKinsey and Company. Paul Martin will continue talking, which is VP Analytics and Insights at Saxis in the UK. And finally, we have Tini Sevak, which is Vice President Global Business Integration, Starcom MediaVest Group. Please, Jason, come on and start with your session.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to apologize for sounding a little bit like a frog this morning, or like the Godfather, more cool. So I want to talk about data activation at scale. Fundamentally, we talk about data activities, right? The last day, I've heard some really fantastic case studies about how data was activated for a particular use case. But fundamentally, for marketers, what we're really trying to do is help the entire marketing organization look at data activation as the new normal, right? At scale, globally, across the organization. And realistically, digital marketing is data activation, right? And all of you guys look at something like this, right? The aggregation of first and third party data, transaction data, media data, behavioral data, engagement data, call center data. That data is used for two overarching purposes that the organization, the executive level of the organization, needs to understand as growth drivers. One, to enhance targeting of paid media, right? Both explicitly and implicitly through lookalike modeling and through customer segmentation or new advanced approaches to customer segmentation. Then two is to enable personalization at scale across owned platforms, right? And this is a really simplistic model that most companies just don't understand, right? This is data activation at scale in its most simple form, and creating the closed loop around these two sides of the world, right? Better targeting of paid media, personalizing at scale, right? So every single customer interaction at any touch point has every single digital signal or analog signal linked together in one central core data system to make a more relevant customer experience and more profitable moment for the company. Increasingly, companies think in journeys, right? The customer decision journey is not a funnel, right? And what you see up here is sort of the McKinsey customer decision journey that's been widely adopted, but there's various different versions of this, right? And along this customer journey, you have different channels, different touch points, different disciplines, all of which require an underpinning of data and advanced analytics to create customer scoring that creates more relevant experiences, higher conversion rates, higher customer engagement, higher customer satisfaction. But this is a holistic view, right? It's not about the activities. It's not about programmatic media, except when it is, right? But that is one tactic in a bigger view of how to create data activation across the customer journey. It's not about digital marketing. It's about marketing in the digital age. This is what it means to be a modern day marketer. There's a really simple and effective organizing framework that we've been working with our clients to help senior executives try to internalize what does it mean? What do we have to master to be really good at this in the modern day? First is data, right? Data aggregation, taking disparate types of data, first-party data, third-party data, aggregating them in a way that's flexible, that's extensible. I have this fun debate with some of my colleagues. often the 360-degree customer view is just this hard thing to get. We call it the 360-degree-ish customer view, right? A more complete operational customer view to create data activation, right? Next is the decisioning against that data, right? The advanced analytics that allows you to score every single customer, every single prospect based on every signal possible, right? Now, sometimes you won't have that many signals, but when you have the infrastructure, you have the business processes in place to attempt to score all of your data and create decisioning in real time or near real time. And then those decisions are then pushed into your distribution channels, right? Pushed into paid media, pushed into owned media, pulling signals from social. And you'll note that I don't specifically call out earned media as sort of a channel. They're kind of signals that we pull in and really is another distribution channel of how we interact with and engage with consumers. And these 3Ds, data, decisioning, distribution, yield, again, this more relevant customer experience, more profitable customer interactions. It's a win-win. But this needs to be a holistic approach from an organization, right? What happens today, and I'm sure this will resonate with you guys, every time your clients want to go execute a big campaign that leverages data in a unique way, they're almost starting over every single time, right? Thinking about how do we leverage data? How do we leverage insights? How do we decision? How do we distribute? Versus having this holistic piece. Now, in that context, you see here sort of in the background, Scott Brinker's marketing technology landscape that now has over 4,000 companies, right? It's overly consuming, unnecessarily confusing. Now, there are a myriad of point solutions out there. There's a core customer data platform and decisioning engine that the company needs to be able to mobilize this. And there's just 5 really quick notes that I'm going to rattle off, and then I'm going to actually walk off stage. One is mobilizing leaders, cross-functional leaders against this goal. It's not just about marketing. There's a lot of different leadership across the organization that needs to be rallied to do this. You need to be creative about navigating the legacy in the organization, right? So coming up with creative ways to fight the fact that different people own different sets of data. Don't get caught up in company bullshit. Walk before you run, but at the same time, focus on the single biggest opportunities. Find the lighthouse events that represent the biggest opportunity for the organization, and then let data activation change the operating model. Your new normal, the new roles, the new functions, the new operating model, it takes a lot of change. This isn't something that happens as a campaign. It's something that happens as a business process optimization, right? So 3 quick takeaways. 1, data activation is not optional. 2, be creative, test your legacy. And 3, somebody has to own mobilizing the organization. It does not happen through osmosis. It does not happen organically. Thank you.
Thank you. Right in the brick of time.